People had said that content-driven cinema works on OTT, it doesn't work at box office.
Yeah.
But this film shattered that belief as well.
The story moved me as an Indian citizen, as a mother, as a girl. And I kept going back to 2011 and thinking that how come I didn't catch this news. It was very shocking for me to have heard the story for the first time. People would always come to watch a good film, you know, and they will always sample a film that they feel from a distance that, you know, this is the story that we need to know. I don't think there's anything bigger than the audience's verdict, and I always live for that.
Each of your performances have shown the different aspects and the different facets of a woman. Dr. Suhani from Satya, she told me that it's okay to compromise on some things, but also take your stand when it's needed. Tina, who told me it's okay to sacrifice your love if it means the happiness of your loved one in someone else. Hichki, like, that film has a profound impact on me. Like, how a woman can be so nurturing as well as confident and trying to make something of her own at the same time. Especially like Kank and Paheli, they told that love has not to fit in a certain sense that a society has made. And even today you continue to do so.
Not going mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the prettiest one of them all, and expect the mirror to say that it's me. So I need to know what the reality is. So I've grown up in a house where I've seen my mom being a housewife also and being a working person as well. So I've seen the like the balance. There is no amount of success or laurels that I'll get in my professional life if I don't know what my daughter is all about. You know, I can't miss out on that either. Like tomorrow if she grows up and I don't know her because I'm so crazily just, you know, running after my profession, that will be of no use.
Today is a big day for me. Why and how might be a little difficult to explain, but the name and presence of my next guest would explain it completely. My emotions might fluctuate between trying hard to not to choke up and or either smiling wide from eye to eye, because that is what is going on in my head and my heart. And today it's an honor for me as I meet Rani Mukerji ma'am to celebrate the success of Mrs Chatterjee Vs Norway. Ma'am, there are artists who entertain you on screen, but there are very few who have that effect on your life that you don't even realize how they mold you as a person. You have been one of those people for me.
So sweet, thank you.
So firstly, thank you for being you. And I want to start by asking, like, Mrs Chatterjee Vs Norway has had a profound impact on everyone who has seen it.
Right.
There is not a single person I have met at least who has said that they are not moved by the film. They have, it has not made them think about the things that are happening in life. For you to kind of see that reception, because when you make films, the first reason and the first aim for it is to impact people, especially when the subject like this is handled. For you to see that happening in person, how has that been?
It's been amazing because, you know, even being in the industry for so many years, you still don't know what a film would, how a film would impact an audience when it comes. Because with the journey that I've had, and I've seen films come and go through so many years, like, you know, the intention of a film could be something, but the mood of the audience could be different when they are sampling the film. So in this case, the fact that the story moved me as an Indian citizen, as a mother, as a girl, you know, raised in India, it was very shocking for me to have heard the story for the first time. The fact that I didn't know about this story, though it was extensively been spoken about on media channels in 2011, and I kept going back to 2011 and thinking that how come I didn't catch this news, you know, and I realized that there are a lot of people in the world like me, in India and abroad, who don't know about this case, you know, and that triggered my first instinct to be part of this film, you know, that I said that this is a story that needs to be told to the people. It's an important story, and it's not only the story of this fabulous mother or this strong mother who kind of fought the battle against all odds to get her children back. It is also a story about how people are treated in another country when they go to make another country their home. You know, it had so much of things that it spoke about immigrant families, about their plight, about what happens, like, to people who come from different cultures. So there was so many sub layers in the film that I said that this film has to be told. And the fact that the people have received the story the way we intended it to be received, that makes my belief in audiences even stronger.
Yeah.
My faith in them even more, that people would always come to watch a good film, and they will always sample a film that they feel from a distance that, this is the story that we need to know. For me, it's something that I can only be grateful, and I'm really happy that this happened.
Apart from the box office numbers, what speaks of the success is that a lot of people from within the industry and the audiences have come out to speak about the film.
Right.
They have not held their appreciation to themselves. People have come out and spoken about it because everyone noticed and kind of realized that this is a story that needs to be told, that a story that needs to be recognized by people. When you see that kind of support coming in from all corners, does it fill you with a sense of unification as well?
Absolutely, because I think, as an industry, we as artists should stand by each other. We have to be able to, be cheerleaders for each other, and only then will an audience feel that, yes, there's so much of unity amongst them. So yeah, I would say that I am truly, truly grateful for all the people who kind of spoke about my film, the audiences who came out in numbers and encouraged other people to go and watch the film. Like, I was seeing some public reactions on YouTube, and what I felt so amazing is that each person came out and told the reviewers and the people who were interviewing that, yes, it is a must film. You all must come and watch the film. This is a good film. So it was literally like they were imploring the people who are watching it or who would watch it, that please go and sample this film because this film deserves a chance.
Yeah. And then the quantification came in the form of the box office numbers as well.
Yes.
And I feel like it was so written in the stars kind of thing because firstly the king brought the numbers to the box office, then the queen herself brought that back. So for you to, and then he appreciating you like this, my queen Rani. So everything worked out so well, and it also shattered a lot of beliefs. The working of Mrs Chatterjee, that people had said that content-driven cinema works on OTT, it doesn't work at box office. But this film shattered that belief as well. When you see that, do you see that the analytics that people follow are somewhat kind of flawed in a way that no one knows what would work at any time?
Nobody knows. If like anybody knew, then that person would be the richest person today. Everyone would be reporting to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there's anything bigger than the audience's verdict. And I always live for that. My main target when I'm even shooting a film or when I'm on set or when I'm doing script readings, it's always as to will this connect with an audience. So for me, the fact that it has connected with the audience, for me it's a huge deal.
True.
And especially in the scenario of so much of skepticism, that at one point though your mind just stops working because there's so much of cynicism towards the fact that no, this is not going to do, or they will sample it on OTT and they will do this, and I'm like, arey bhaiya, release karne do picture, release kar do. Then once what the audience gives a verdict, after that we can say what we want to say. But everybody tries to become a trade guru and a trade pandit, and everybody tries to play God, But what they don't realize is that when you have the support of your fans, of the audiences, and if you've intended to make a good film with the right intention, it will always come through.
True.
It might not come through in a large sense, but in whatever sense it will come through in a positive way.
True. And just a few days before the release of the film, I was writing an article about you where I was just noting, I started with saying ki I'll just write about her best performances. Then I realized that each of your performances have shown the different aspects and the different facets of a woman.
Yeah.
And it much more in a nuanced sense. Like if I take Dr. Suhani from Satya, she told me that it's okay to compromise on some things, but also take your stand when it's needed. Then there was Tina who told me it's okay to sacrifice your love if it means the happiness of your loved one in someone else.
Right.
Then there's Hichki, like that film has a profound impact on me. Like how a woman can be so nurturing as well as confident and trying to make something of her own at the same time. Each of your character has that. Especially like Kank and Paheli, they told that love has not to fit in a
Yes.
certain sense that a society has made.
Yes.
There are so many things that each of your role has taught.
Yeah.
And even today you continue to do so. Even Mrs Chatterjee and Hichki, Mardani, especially in the last few years, that the projects that you have taken. When you see that kind of filmography of yours, does it instill a sense of pride in you?
I think when my fans are proud of my work, I feel a sense of satisfaction because, today I wouldn't have been there if they hadn't supported me through these years. Like, when this whole influx of social media happened, I used to feel really happy when people used to say that, Rani, you're not on social media, but it doesn't matter. Your fans have kept you alive, So for me, that's very, very gratifying because I've always been a very simple person at heart. I've tried to be very simple, though I am in this industry which is all about showing more than there is. But I've tried to keep a balance between my work life and my personal life. And I'm hoping that I'm able to stick by my belief and my convictions till the years to come because it's very important to know the reality where you stand, especially in this business. So before somebody else shows you the mirror, you should be aware of that, So I would prefer you're not going mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the prettiest one of them all and expect the mirror to say that it's me. Yeah. So I need to know what the reality is and go with that reality and be able to push boundaries with the reality that I'm living in.
Okay.
So that is very important. I always pray that I don't get into a delusional zone ever. So it's very important for me to know what the pulse of the audience is, what the audience wants to see, and always have a question mark as to are they ready to watch. That's why I don't sign a film till my release because I'm skeptical and I want to know that are people really coming to see me or are they interested yet?
They are. I can attest to it. They are very interested.
Yeah, so I hopefully if that continues, I'll continue doing films because as I always say that with time, priorities change in every person's life. And to be able to give 100% to your profession, it's very important that I give 100% to my personal life as well. Because there is no amount of success or laurels that I'll get in my professional life if I don't know what my daughter is all about. I can't miss out on that either. Like tomorrow if she grows up and I don't know her because I'm so crazily just running after my profession, that will be of no use. So it's important for me to be able to balance my life personally as well as professionally so that my fans are not disappointed and my daughter is not disappointed.
And as you mentioned daughter the film highlights the importance of equal parenting. Because as we see in the film, agar bachche mein kuch dikkat ya matlab in parenting is there any dikkat, then the mother is to be blamed. As we see in the film. And at some places it still persists.
It's a reality,
But you have grown in a family where you have kind of seen what equal parenting kind of denotes. And that is something you are offering your daughter as well. And
no, in my growing up years also, I think my father was mostly busy with his work. Mom was also kind of, trying to make ends meet and she was also trying to work. So I've grown up in a house where I've seen my mom being a housewife also and being a working person as well. So I've seen the the balance. But I think with each generation, I can't raise my daughter the way my mom raised me. Because with Adira, again, now I'm married to a man who's not my father, right? So my mom and dad raised me. So they had a very different kind of parenting. Now I'm married to Adi and he's coming from his set of values. So also the way I'll bring up my daughter will be something that what today's parents need to do with the children. So it always changes. Like we can't pressurize our children to grow up the way we have grown up. And that will never work.
True.
So it's always better to make friends with your children and make your children grow up like your friends because only then there's a chance that they'll want to hang out with you when they grow up.
But with a cool mom like you, I think
Yeah.
Adira would be hanging out with you a lot of the time.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. No, no.
That's what I can only hope for. You know
Yeah.
how we hope for the audiences to come to the theatres?
Yeah.
This is also another hope of mine.
Yeah.
That my daughter will like to hang with me
Yeah.
when she grows up.
And also, there's one thing that has made a lot of noise and kind of the fact has been asserted in the last 10 to 15 years, how women-led stories have become much more accepted and receptive by the audience. Today, the concept of relevancy has kind of dissipated altogether depending on the women's marital or parental status, and you have actually been at forefront in defining that. So when you see that kind of change, does it instill you with a sense of pride to see your work having that kind of effect?
So, firstly, I'd like to say that this whole thing of women-centric films or the women-led stories was very much there in the 40s and the 50s as well. When you see films of Nutan ji, of Nargis ji, they all did films which were like, you know, women-centric, and it spoke from a woman's perspective. But of course, with each decade, there have been films that have dominated. Like 70s predominantly saw the emergence of the angry young man. Then 80s went into more of, you know, those action films. You know, and then 90s again came with love stories, family-oriented stories, and then 2000 came with, you know, the very young India kind of young stories and, you know, stuff like that. So every decade sees a different, I would say, influx in the kind of stories that the audiences are wanting to sample. You know, this time is a great time for cinema because audiences are accepting a lot of different content, which is also fabulous. But I would always like to say one thing is that the success never lies with just the filmmakers and the actors. It actually lies in the hands of the audience. If the audience doesn't sample these films, they would never be successes, you know, and they would die their natural death. So I think we as actors and technicians or makers can't take the full credit, because when a film, a content-based film does well, it empowers other filmmakers to come up with similar subjects. So I feel that it's always the power of the audience that makes us, you know, drives us to even take those kind of content-driven films.
True. And I feel like the recent choices that you have made now, be it Mardani 2, Hitchki, Mrs Chatterjee, No One Killed Jessica, from a long time that you have been making those choices, they have actually inspired a lot of filmmakers to invest in such stories because they have all found acceptance, and it has proven that content does not have to suffer on the cost of commerce.
Right.
That you have established and a lot of people have, but yours has been actually at the forefront, defying all the odds, defying all the expectations that people had. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for being the person you are. I will again assert that. And I just knew that these 15 minutes won't be enough to convey all that I felt about you. So before signing off, I had written just a letter for you, which I would like to give it to you.
Thank you.
So if and when you get time, you can read it.
I will.
And you have had a profound impact on me and the life that I have led and the person I have become. And it won't be easy to summarize it in words. But thank you so much for giving me this time, giving me this opportunity and the pleasure to have this conversation with you.
Yes, and you manifested it.
Yes.
It happened the last time we met, and I'm so happy that we're meeting at the success chat.
Success chat. Yeah. And I'm hoping that this was just the first of many to follow.
Thank you.
And can't wait to see you next time you come on screen. And it has to be sooner than expected because we are all waiting for it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this.
Bye.